Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Time, a Wave Sports and Entertainment original presented by Prize Picks. My name is Bomani Jones. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcast. Also, thanks for watching us on YouTube. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. It is Foxworth Friday. Domonique Foxworth, what's going on?
Not much, man. I was looking forward to having some more downtime after football season is over. I'm more tired than I was back then. I need to go to sleep, and it's stressful. The combine always gives me stress, even though I don't have to go anymore. I remember how stressed I was back then. So I don't know. I need this Foxworth Friday to be fun.
Yeah, I was curious if you was going to go up there to the combine.
Yeah, I thought about it, but then I chose not to. I mean, the only point to go to the combine, I think, at this point for me would be relationships and networking. And what I learned, and I've never been great at networking. I was foolish enough to think you just do the work and that matters, which it does matter. But networking, as you'll learn, youngsters and old people who listen to this who already know, that's really the key. It's knowing the right people is the real key. And I've never been all that good at it, and I realized that Super Bowl, it's the networking. The best networking happens at the parties, and I ain't got it to be up with all these funky football people drunk in Indianapolis. Leave me alone. I need to be home.
You know why I'm not good at networking? Because I don't be paying enough attention to who people are.
Yeah.
I just be places. I don't know who nobody is, right? I had something come up. I'm famous for this. I was who is this person I was just talking to? Oh, how many movies did you say she's been in? I don't know who nobody is. When I worked at ESPN, I know names. I don't know what none of them people do. Just every now and then, there's somebody I was supposed to know for a little while. Maybe they still had some clout. Maybe they didn't. I had no idea, man. I'd be up there in Bristol in the office talking crazy, and it'd be who is that? Oh, the head of the talent office? Wow. I wish I had known that before I was doing all that flagrant cursing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's fine. As long as you are genuine with people. I think my issue with networking and probably with most of relationships, except for the past 10 to 15 years of my life, was I don't have time for that shit. I don't really want to talk to you. And it's it comes across as mean, but I think I've got better at that. But you don't have that. The fact that you don't know who the person is probably makes it a little bit better. It feels more genuine, because we can all sense when somebody is angling for something.
Yeah, but I'm still not
I know who he is.
Yeah, you can sense when somebody's angling for something, but I don't have a great sense of when I'm talking to somebody that I should be angling toward, right?
Right.
It's just, here's the problem, man. Any old white man in front of you gonna act like they run this thing. I don't know how to tell if you actually do.
But my point is, they could probably tell if you was angling for something, and people probably appreciate a more genuine experience. They're that dude Bomani, he real. And he didn't come up to me knowing that I was the head of this, head of that, and try to tell me how nice my suit was.
Fair. Yeah, because I ain't doing none of that. You're absolutely correct. You getting zero of that from me. But we want to tell the people something right fast as we get this here show going. It's a very important thing for people to understand is, I am one of these people that resist the whole NFL draft economy, right? I'm not going to be getting in here with draft breakdowns all the way up into the draft. I hate the fact that they have the first round of that draft on Thursdays, because we can't tape our Foxworth Friday early on Thursdays, nor we normally do. We be up in this motherfucker late on Thursday, all because they had a meeting. Right? All this, there's no reason they couldn't do this earlier in the afternoon, except we stupid enough to watch it on television, right? I resist that. I push back. Brother, I've been putting together shows all week. Domonique, you've been doing the same thing. And this right here is how the draft turned into a thing, because I don't know what else I'm supposed to be doing and talking about. Me and the homie Trey was on Wednesday. Man, we was scraping the bowl trying to come up with stuff. Thank goodness Dame started complaining about Milwaukee. We punched down for a good 20 minutes. And if we hadn't, I don't know how we was going to put a thing together.
This is how, this is one of the drawbacks of the NFL becoming so powerful. And I guess it's also to blame some of the other sports and falling back. Is people want football talk. And we know that people want football talk. The numbers suggest that. But ain't no football to talk about. So I'm on Get Up a couple of days ago, and we over there just dissecting every word of random general manager's quote and trying to make a conversation out of it. And I'm thinking, when we're doing a pre-show meeting, I did it twice last week. The first time, Monica was on the show, Monica McNutt, who does basketball. And there was another basketball person on the show. We in the middle of the week. It's all football people. I'm at the pre-show meeting. It's just me and my brethren. I'm like, y'all know the NBA is happening right now. We did a full 2-hour show about GM quotes.
Yeah, they tried. Like the homie Takeoff, rest in peace, went back to Ratchet because that cute shit wasn't working. That's how it feels sometimes. Like we try to get over here and talk about these hoops. That cute shit wasn't working. We got to go back and start dropping it again. We got to set that ass out for the people. That's what they love. This is like an Ice Spice show, dog. We out here trying to rap. They ain't trying to hear it. You just got to turn around and let them see it. Woo!
You want to see a little football? I give you a little football. I shake a little football for you. I pop a little pigskin.
Oh my goodness! Like you got to be really good at rapping right now to be better than the booty. Like the booty is out here. That's what this combine is, right? The combine is the booty apparently. Because to me, the thing with the combine is there's stuff to talk about with the combine. To me, local, right? So like if you know your team needs an edge rusher in the first round, you can get in there and talk about all that stuff. But like as a national topic, the combine just a little unwieldy. I like talking about the combine with guys like you just from the standpoint of going. I have never gone, but it seems to me, and I could be wrong here, cats be looking forward to the combine every year. And if that don't sound like a motherfucking sausage party, I don't know what, I mean, like that there's never been a time in my life that it being that many dudes was ever a good idea.
That's a fair point. A lot of bad decisions are made and every year at the combine because of that. And yeah, I don't see it as, I think you have a good time with your guy friends, but especially at a certain point, if you go to a party or something, it's just weird. So I think it just turns into like teenage hangouts. And the one time I went when I participated, obviously I wasn't involved in that. I went after that when I was president of the union, but wasn't still an active player. And it was like really cool to see people that you knew and that you remembered you hadn't seen in a while, dap them up, whatever, have a drink with them, and then it was good. I didn't drink back then, so I would go home. It was no big deal. I wasn't up for all the foolishness afterwards, but I can guarantee that some nonsense is going down because we don't tend to make a bunch of good decisions when we all are together as men.
There's not enough like that's it's a room full of uncut dopes. You understand what I'm saying? Like they need something to cut them dopes because all it is otherwise is just a bunch of dopes. Like I can see, I imagine this also back in the day. Like maybe it's a little different now because these things ain't as hard to come by as they used to be or whatever. But there was a dude back in the day at the combine. Who knows what it is, who it was. But that dude, the dude that got it, right? Like somebody just like, yo, man, who got the weed, man? And they know it's the one dude who got it. And they be mad as hell when he show up and be like, oh, man, I thought y'all had it. What? And now you just got a bunch of dudes stomping around Indianapolis trying to go buy a bag of Huff. It looked like a bag of Brussels sprouts. But they go find it one way or another. They try it. And once they get it, they don't even care what it is.
That ain't a problem no more, though, right? I mean, I don't know. I ain't been
now,
to Indianapolis.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
But I bet you there was a point, though, where it was like one dude but wound up being the one who had it. But the problem was he going to be there a whole week. And so everybody trying to find him.
People think I'm crazy when I say that, like, when I say, like, I went to Super Bowl, I'm talking about the week of. I've been to a few games, but when you say, like, that was a good Super Bowl, you're talking about the whole week. And people think I'm crazy when I say that Indianapolis is one of the best Super Bowls that I've been to. And we got lucky with the weather. And it's a convention town. If you've ever been there, they got tunnels to get you to everything. It's connected to a mall. And you don't have to, you get in, you land, you get in a car, then you go to downtown Indianapolis, and then you don't have to get in a car ever again. I feel like that's really the determining factor for me is how good my Super Bowl experience is do I got to do a whole bunch of driving? And man, I liked Indy more than I like Miami. I know that sounds stupid, but the Super Bowl in Indy was better than the Super Bowl in
Miami. Miami come with a lot, right? Like all of it. Well, I can't say all of us, but those of us who have dated a very attractive woman at some point, sometimes you understand it comes with things, right? It's not necessarily like when cats be looking up and they see somebody has been in an untoward situation with a very attractive woman. They're like, man, I would never do that if I was with such and such. That's how I know you ain't never like your ambitions is low. I know your ambition is low because you ain't never had to test some of these hypothetical theories out before. You know what I'm saying? Like those
it's
of us,
real easy. It's real easy to be an absolutist when you're like I'm a pacifist, but you ain't never been president. It's a whole different thing when it comes to the situation. You got to make these decisions.
Yeah, those of us who have pushed ourselves to the limit have understood. Nah, man. There could be a lot of things that are going on here. You ain't got no idea what that man be going through. You have no clue.
You know how I know they lying is those are the same people that are fans of teams. When a guy get arrested, they be like, I mean, it ain't that bad.
Yes.
3-game suspension. I'm okay with a 3-game suspension. Yeah, you guys will compromise too if it looked good.
Yes. And that's the thing about Miami. Miami looks great, right? And there's the charms that come with it, but it's not always the easiest to deal with, not always the most convenient. Comes with things, right? Comes with drama. As it relates. Like I see what you're saying. Did you see the thing where the NBA, and I was talking to somebody about this, and apparently these things aren't new, but they're all-star city requirements?
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't know that they had them before, but it's just they're just trying to find a way that they don't have to say no to these small market teams that want it.
So apparently those have been in place, somebody was telling me, for a while, and they're less requirements than preferences, like strong preferences, which is something like 7,500 hotel rooms, a certain number of domestic and international flights, a convention center that holds X amount of people. And it narrowed it down, and the list basically became like 10 cities in America that could have the All-Star game, and people were all disappointed by seeing that. And I was like, the only people that's disappointed by seeing that happen to that list of places that you can have the All-Star game in is people who don't go to the All-Star game. Because all I saw, like, there was some places I was like, damn, we ain't got New Orleans. Why can't we bring that back around? Like, it was some places that I was hoping would still be there. But otherwise, I was like, yeah, Sacramento, off the list with you. Salt Lake City, never again. Minneapolis, whoo, that sounded cold to begin with.
I guess maybe local mayors or like local shop owners or something could be sad about it. But I also feel like as much civic pride as many people have, you know what your city is, and you know that you want to go to one of these other cities, which that's the thing that confuses me. How could you be offended if you're in one of these places that is not like a destination type place, and now you upset that you're not going to expose other people to this boredom?
It's people, right? They get on the internet. It's the people that's on the opposite side of most things as me. And they will like try to make an argument that people like me don't want to say that there's been no progress when it comes to matter of race. Cause, you know, then what would you have to complain about, right? I'm sure you've heard that argument before, that people make this about Black people all the time. And so I just want to be clear that I am willing to acknowledge the possibility that there's been a measure of progress that's been made in our society, right? And I've seen progress happen in a lot of different ways. And so I don't ever want it to be a case where people think I'm not able to recognize the ways in which we have come farther, you know, come from places that we used to be, right? I appreciate the steps, you know, white folks, they ain't as bad as they used to be, right? Like that's to be to put that on a t-shirt somewhere, right? Like white folks, better than they was. Maybe that's what we say. But you just gonna have a hard time telling me that we have reached this level of progress where all these people want the All-Star game. You're just not gonna tell me that it's a nation full of cities that want the traveling Afro-American circus to touch down in their city. Now, look, I've been to a lot of All-Star games in the last 10, 12 years, right? It's actually pretty chill at this point. And maybe it's because I'm older and now I'm going to like sponsored events and stuff like that and everything's chill. Or maybe after Vegas, everybody got together. There was a secret meeting, right? Like even Farrakhan had to go and everybody had to get in there and just be like, hey, it can't be like this ever again, right? Maybe that's what it is. But you're just not gonna make me believe that the mayor of insert city here, like Boston, you're not going to tell me that Boston want the All-Star game? Because I know the All-Star game don't want Boston. Hell no. I tell you that right. No.
That Vegas was a pivotal moment in All-Star game history because it like had reverberations into the NFL, had reverberations all over the world.
Hold on. It didn't have reverberations into the NFL. The NFL was the problem.
I'm sorry. We was part of the problem there. We ain't know how to act, man. We ain't know how to act. You think how much sooner they would have got a team there if we knew how to act? Oh, man, we ain't know how to act, man. We had players fighting each other. And wasn't at the same time, did Joey Porter get into it? Or, correct me if I'm wrong. It might have been Joey Porter or it might have been the other linebacker, pass rushing linebacker. No. He was the Harrison, right? Harrison. I don't know. I'm mixing it up.
Debo. Got it.
Yes. But there was some linebackers fighting each other in the lobby of Caesars or something like that. Yeah, we was on one that week. We was on one.
Somebody told me they saw, like, you know me, man. I'm trying to hold down hope for my folk in certain situations. Man, I forget who it was that told me that they saw some cats shooting dice in front of the casino, man. In front of the casino. And that's the thing. The problem with All-Star Game in Las Vegas, it wasn't the people who came on planes.
Yeah.
It was the people who came in cars. LA and Oakland were the issue. They showed up and they made they were the issue. They were the issue, guys. They were the thing. But when I saw all them listed requirements for the All-Star game, I was like, oh, Vegas, we can go back, right? And I want to know how Vegas fit. Last time I was there, I forget who it was, but they told me that people talk about it in hushed tones.
they get Vegas gets so many events that they can be picky and choosy. However, though, like the whole economy is based on like events and tourism and stuff like that. But I guess maybe they don't feel like it's worth it for that one.
Domonique, the idea that all these different things come to Vegas and there's only one that anybody remembers.
That's true.
That's not.
It's a seminal moment.
The last thing you want to be is unforgettable.
If you raise your eyebrows and say, you know that All-Star game, we all know which one you're talking about. We all know the Vegas one.
The thing I'll always remember about that All-Star game, and I'm telling you, somebody from the NBA like Opstay Okingte about the Abe Gay and Agus Vay and May. But what I'll always remember about that is before we started getting all the accounts of what was going down, I just remember watching the game. And they were real heavy in the Vegas theme, but it was the old school Vegas theme. And it was Wayne Newton. I remember seeing Wayne Newton. I don't remember if he was singing the national anthem or he was just doing like a Wayne Newton sort of thing. By the way, Wayne Newton, still in the league. You know who else is still in the league? Rich Little. And not only are these guys still in the league, they're still putting up shots. They still getting minutes. Yeah.
Man, I thought LeBron was impressive.
Rich Little still out there getting 20 minutes a night, dog.
No way.
He's still out there. There's still billboards for go see Rich Little. Wayne Newton. When we was out there for All-Star and Dan and them was off the strip. We went over there. That's where Wayne Newton's at. He out there with his people. You know what I'm saying? Like Wayne Newton, he ain't gonna be at Dre's. You know, he ain't gonna be at Encore. He over there where they know him at.
Good for Wayne Newton and Rich Little. Rich Little kind of shocked me. I knew Wayne Newton was still in the league because I saw him on with Dan a couple weeks ago. But man, I thought LeBron was killing it.
No, man, they still in the league. They still out there. But what's it gonna take to get that All-Star game back in Las Vegas? What coordination? Like there will be protests in the streets if that would happen.
The funny thing is, like the NBA like made a conscious effort in the 90s or not in the 90s in the 2000s to try to clean up their image.
Things had to change.
Yeah. However, that has never changed. The All-Star game it's one of our events. It's a thing where we know this is where you need to go, especially at a certain age. At a younger age, like 35 and below, it's like, all right, All-Star game, we there.
But for a long time, I really wanted to get into this, to explore it and get to the bottom of it, like a documentary of sorts. What do the white people do during All-Star Weekend because they there. Like, it's all these white dudes that work for the league. One year, I've talked about this before, Matt Bonner had a party during All-Star in New Orleans. It was called the Alt-Star Party. I went to that, and it was like 3 people. It was a wild, like, crazy, strange night for me. Like, I saw a lot of things on the way to and from the Alt-Star Party. But yeah, Matt Barner had the Alt-Star Party. And I just like, where is Adam Silver kicking it? Who's he hanging out with? And God, I'd hate to hear the jokes they tell, right? But like, I just like there's some stuff going on with the white people. Like, because, we got all these white dudes in the NBA press corps. No disrespect to y'all, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, there was a story about Summer League, and I forget who wrote it. I think Zach Lowe may have written it. But like, it was like some kind of karaoke night. And it was very clear, without being said out loud, the theme of the story was, this is what the white people do during Summer League. Because it was not at all a mixed race sort of function or anything. Like, I think the white people are getting together just like we are, seeing each other, giving each other the nod when they see each other walking down the street, and they're like, hey, man, look, we're going to have a little set over here, just, it's up, what, FUBU, you know what I'm saying? Like, they gonna go over there, sing some Journey songs and have a night. You know what I'm saying?
Last week we talked about how when we are one of few black people in the environment, we got to give it a head nod. And you just mentioned, I had never considered it before. I never considered that there was ever an environment, with the exception of like the 5 white people that go to the HBCU. I never considered that there was ever an environment where white men felt the need to like show solidarity with one another. But I get it. You're at the All-Star game and you see another white dude, I feel like it's appropriate for you to, you do a head nod salute, 2-finger salute might be a little...
Yep. Not just solidarity, Domonique. They also need to get together to complain about us.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
And
most definitely.
I don't know what exactly they complaining about, but I will say they probably got a point on a lot of the stuff. like it's the things that we do that we think are perfectly normal that just seem completely out of this world to white people, right?
And the things that we don't do normally because we're like, oh, I can't do this here. It ain't enough for us. They won't understand. They won't appreciate that. When it's enough for us, you go ahead and be ourselves. And you guys should appreciate the opportunity to be involved, be connected with it.
Now, you get to a point where you realize, like I've talked about how I saw somebody was talking to her secretary at the time, and she had to engage in a measure of engineering, shall we say, to make something work. A very primitive sort of engineering, shall we say. And the person was like, yeah, we black people got a word for that. And the white person was like, yeah, we use the same word. Yeah. Right? Like, I bring all that up to say that they be noticing stuff about us that we may not necessarily know.
Have you seen this thing? So this came to my mind when you said that. You're right. They do notice some things, but there's this show, and it's on social media right now. I haven't seen the show itself, but it's like a game show where they put up pictures and you have to recognize the faces of the people in the picture. And like Rob Lowe's the host of it. It's like on Fox or something. But they made fun of it on SNL. And then I got served social media post that was like a video of a bunch of people performing or participating in this game. And white people don't know black people. It was just like 10 or 12 white people with like legitimately famous black people. And so they'll show a bunch of white people that are like, I don't know, somewhat famous and kind of like, particularly when it's like white actresses or something, like a lot of them, I get them confused and they like picking them apart. They like, oh no, that's Kate Hudson. That's Margot Robbie.
I'm bad there.
And that's where I really have a trouble telling them apart. That's fine. But then they put up like Morgan Freeman or something. They like, I don't even know. I'm telling you, I'll have to find that post and send it to you, but it's pretty hilarious. Also, I'm gonna send you this link from the Undefeated from Anscape from 2019. Hip hop tells the story of how NBA All-Star Game became the Black Super Bowl. Somebody did some research.
Got it. But like, the thing I was going to say, I'm just saying that white people notice things about us that we may not necessarily think that they notice. And I imagine that when they get together, they, in these moments, they get to talking about these things, right? Like, so one time, I ain't going to say no names, but I was in at a party of sorts with a colleague, and the colleague noticed it was an African American gentleman with a Caucasian lady, and we all have our own different tastes. But let us just say that that Caucasian gentleman that was with me, he himself would never have given the time of day to this particular Caucasian woman that was with this African American man. And upon seeing that couple, that gentleman then looked at me and said, "See, that's what I don't understand." And I did not realize that white people were also having that discussion about some of the pairings that one might see in places like, Myrtle Beach, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know that they was peeping the same game that black people are peeping under those same circumstances. But they are peeping, not only are they peeping the same game, they're peeping the exact same game. Like, they're not looking at it like you would think, where they would be like, "Wow, I can't believe she's with that guy." No, they're just as, they don't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a lot less fun if you explained it all to them. But yeah, I get it. They hear too. They see the same thing.
I'm just saying, they peeping games.
Yeah.
So that means that they getting together at Summer League, they getting together at All-Star. And I bet they have some hilarious observations about African America that I would love to hear if they could figure out a way to do it without, like, fighting words.
It's not worth the risk for them to get too close to explain. Yeah, it's certainly not worth the risk. And I don't want to hear it unfiltered. Like, if y'all have a secret meeting, then y'all do your secret meeting. I don't want to hear unfiltered. Y'all need to send this through somebody who's smart and worldly that can clean it up in a way that I can receive it in a way that won't be angry.
Yep, and that's what Neil Brennan and Bill Burr are for. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money. And with the football season over, you can still win money with basketball and hockey. Just choose 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can pick combo projections across multiple sports from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. And if you stick around for the end of the show, you'll get to hear some picks from our producer, Sean, that can either help you win or make you fail miserably. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. Domonique, I am so impressed with us right now. We done ate up a lot of that time, boy. We did that.
Eat it up suggests that it wasn't good. Like,
I know, but that was the thing. Yeah. We devoured it. We ate. That's fair point. How about that? We didn't just eat it up. We ate.
Yeah. I had an innings eater in my mind when you said ate up, which I was like, oh yeah, that ain't really what we was doing. This is we got a no-hitter rolling here.
Nah, hey, all right, so we can talk a little bit about this draft, right? Like, this draft is interesting because the 3 teams at the top, we got 3 quarterbacks that we feel pretty sure of, right? As the guy that you take early in the draft. It's 3 quarterbacks, and it's 3 teams at the top that all need quarterbacks. So there's no need for a trade. There's no need for a shuffle. Everything lands, but that's not really that interesting for the draft economy. So we try to come up with every possible scenario that anything in this world can change. The only thing the question to me that makes this interesting just is, where do we think Justin Fields is going to wind up, and what can you get for Justin Fields?
My guess is Justin Fields winds up in Pittsburgh. I guess Pittsburgh and Atlanta are like the front runners for considering Justin Fields. The tough thing about the Justin Fields conversation is we got to be honest about it. And I think the potential for Justin Fields is still pretty high, but we have some proof of concept that he's not going to reach that height. And yes, we can blame other extenuating circumstances for what had happened there, but we don't have a lot of examples of guys, first round guys, being in their first destination and not making it to a second contract or even make it to a second contract, then going somewhere else and then being great. I'm thinking like Ryan Tannehill is the example that's come up a lot because Arthur Smith did that with Ryan Tannehill, but he wasn't great, and that's fine. You can have
he wasn't
great
much
years,
better than he was in
good.
Miami, to be honest. It was just a better situation.
Right. The team was better. Yeah.
Right.
And they asked less of him. So I think that's the tough thing about the Justin Fields conversation that I had a hard time articulating because we've been talking about that for the last 2 weeks. I had a hard time articulating it without being disrespectful to Justin Fields because I do believe that in a different situation, he could be much better. But I think that it might be a little too late for that, and being like a solid starter is enough that can have flashes of great games. I think that is where his ceiling is now, which I don't know.
Is it really too late, though? And I ask that, is it really too late? Because, I mean, Geno Smith is kind of the example, right? Like, I think that's what we'll never know is if Geno hadn't got his face broke, right? What he would have been that year. Because that's kind of the question that we need the answer to is if he hadn't got his face broke, what would he have been at that point in time? I don't know where that goes. And Fields is only 24, right? He's there. Yeah. I feel like, can you get a first round pick for him? Because I feel like if you're Pittsburgh, but if I'm Pittsburgh, I give up a first round pick for him. If I'm Atlanta, I give up a first round pick for him because I feel like both of those teams are good enough that they'll never be in a position to get a quarterback.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't think that you give up that they're going to get a first round pick for Justin Fields because of how valuable first round picks are in football and the cost certainty and the potential for that spot. And because Justin Fields is not, I mean, you might be right. Maybe he turns into something better. And you're right. He's only 24. Maybe he turns into something great. I definitely think he's going to be better than he's been up until this point. However, we haven't seen it. And just because we haven't seen it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But the odds are Justin Fields, when we see this happen, this quarterback goes somewhere else and doesn't turn anything good. And like kind of fades away. There's a chance that he does the Tannehill or Geno or something like that is pretty good. And Geno is a guy who has played well, but their coach said we're not completely committed right now. That he won't commit to a quarterback of the future right now with Geno Smith. So it still hasn't been that good.
But that's Geno at 33, 34 years old, right? We're talking about Justin Fields at 24 years old. So where it gets tricky for me is I feel very confident saying Justin Fields is better than Kenny Pickett. That to me was, you want to talk about a pick that looked like a bad idea the second they made it. If you can get a quarterback at 20, wait till 35. Like there's just no way that he ain't going to dangle around that long, right? Like God bless the dead. But when Dwayne Haskins was still available for Washington, I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong about everything I've been saying about this dude because none of these professional people are making an effort to go get him. Like you can get Kenny Pickett at 20, it's a bad idea. Lamar Jackson, I can understand how it happened.
Yeah, that's an entirely different scenario.
Yeah, like you don't want to do that. With the Falcons, dude, Desmond Ridder was so bad last year. So bad. And like I said, if you got Justin Fields and Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, I don't even know why y'all need to throw the ball. Y'all just get out here and run the bone.
I mean, that's like shooting underhand free throws. It will work like hell, but ain't nobody gonna do it. They got too much self-respect and personal pride. I remember my Pop Warner team, we ran the wing tee my first year there, and we were great. Then the next year, we just was like, no, we're not running the wing tee. Put us in that shit that they doing on TV. The guys on Sunday, we want to do that because we have personal pride and self-respect. But wing tee, when I got to high school, we played against a team that ran the wing tee. Couldn't stop that shit. They was Hereford. It was like out in the nowheres of Baltimore County. And as you could imagine, what they looked like and what their athletes were like, they didn't have a lot of athletes, but they would win a lot of games. Misdirection, baby.
Hey, let me tell you something. When Brock Purdy got hurt against the Eagles in the playoffs, Kyle Shanahan, I learned a lot about him that was negative in that game. Because let me tell you something. I understand that he'd been canceled and for good reason. But Art Briles would have got in that wing tee and they'd have figured that out. Like they needed a high school coach that game. A high school coach would have had no second thought about what to do. That's what Art Briles was, fundamentally, a high school coach. We ain't got no quarterback. All right, boys, it's time to get in this wing tee. Watch it work, too.
It absolutely will work. Can you imagine like the options off of that? The sheesh. Yeah. And then the thing about the wing tee is the 3 times you throw the ball in the game, it's gonna be wide the hell open. That wing back gonna slip in across the field. That's gonna be butt naked down the field.
I told you, man. You're right. You gotta swallow your pride sometimes.
Yeah.
I push back on the underhand free throws though. And I push back for one reason only. We only heard of one person doing it. Like everybody talks about how the underhand free throws work just because Rick Barry did it. Can't nobody name person number 2. The only other person I knew who tried it was Wilt Chamberlain, and he wasn't even that good at those either.
But I think part of the reason why nobody good at it is because nobody wants to do it. I imagine that there are lots of guys because I think it seems reasonable, at least to me, it seems logical that you might have more control of shooting a shot that way. But it seems logical that you wouldn't shoot in a game that way because, like, obviously you can't bring it down there. So it would make sense to me that if I had no personal pride and I decided to commit myself to underhand free throw, that would work. And it's the exact same thing about running the wishbone or the wing tee in the NFL. Yeah, that shit will work like hell, in part because nobody will be ready for it. But don't nobody... Like, can you imagine Justin Fields? I would quit if I was Justin Fields. You can keep that money. You said get under center and run a wing tee. I mean, the shame. The shame.
That was the thing about the wishbone. The wishbone never stopped working. People just ain't want to do it no more. They couldn't get the good enough players in it because they was like, bruh, we ain't trying to do that.
I mean, in players, especially in college, you are much more likely to have no quarterback? Like, think about it. Every year, we put 20 new quarterbacks in the NFL. Ain't none of them good. We get like one every 3 years. So you trying to tell me that all these colleges got good quarterbacks? No. You know what they got? Athletes. Yes. A bunch of athletes. And that's why the wing tee works. In the wishbone and all that misdirection bullshit, it works because you got athletes and you can confuse them.
Yeah. Kyle needed to be in that wing tee all game long once that went down. That just, like, you know what? When Michael Vick did his playbook and all of that, that's what the Falcons needed to do to humble him. We gonna get out here, we gonna run this wing tee until you get some act right about you.
That wouldn't have gone over well. I mean, we've come a long way, as we mentioned earlier. I actually had this moment on Get Up a few weeks ago where we were talking about free agent quarterbacks and draft eligible quarterbacks. And there was like 6 quarterbacks that we were all talking about moving to different places, and they were all black. And so I stopped the show and was like, I was on the desk with Graziano, Greenberg, and I think it was Jeff Saturday. And I stopped and was like, look here, guys. I'm proud of y'all. We've come such a long way, like not just you at this desk, but white people in general, that we are at a point where it's not even noteworthy. Like, we didn't put together some Black History Month special occasion where we talk about black quarterbacks. No, the 6 most interesting quarterbacks at that moment were all black quarterbacks. And it was just amazing that white people had made so much progress.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, the game done changed up. The defensive ends got so fast that there wasn't no time for this nonsense no more. Like, and look, this is where Cam Newton was the game changer. Once a team leaned in on, so Sam Bradford was the number 1 pick before Cam Newton, and that was important because he didn't come from a pro-style offense either. It was a different kind of spread, but a spread nonetheless. But they still kind of had Sam Bradford try to do the same thing. Once Cam Newton, who was out there running a real live high school offense in college, once he went from running a high school offense to actually making it happen in the league, couldn't nobody say nothing no more. Everything they said wasn't possible. All that went out the window. Like, that's where Cam, if there's an influencer wing of the Hall of Fame, because he doesn't have a Hall of Fame career just in terms of the football. But you can't say that he had more of an impact on the history of the NFL than Drew Brees did, and that's not an insult to Drew Brees.
No, not at all. Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. I think the quarterbacks that the league is looking for now are closer to Cam Newton than they are to, like, historically what we think of as a great quarterback. And I think the interesting thing is the first thing that comes to my mind as a parallel is like when black players, when big schools, or it's not big schools, when historically white schools started to put black players in, it was kind of like a necessity, and they had to break their minds of whatever hateful notions they had, or they were going to lose their jobs. But I don't know that that's the perfect analogy just because it's about race. I think it's also a good analogy when you think about like shooting in basketball. where it's like, we've been doing it wrong. And everybody been saying you've been doing it wrong, but these old adages where it's like, you can't win at a jump shooting team. Shit. The best way you can win is if you have shooters. And it was like this old adage, you can't win if you got a quarterback who want to run around. It's like, what? That don't even make sense. 3 points is more than 2. Having more weapons is better than having none. And it took a while for people to look up and say, oh, damn. Yeah, that worked. It took Cam Newton to be like, oh, because Vic kind of had the opposite effect, I guess. And then you had RG3 come in the league and not be able to stick around. It took Cam Newton, that monster, to come in the league and say, oh, no, we can do this.
Well, Cam's the year before Robert. But the thing with Cam was, and it's wild looking back, because I remember doing shows going into that draft. And my thing was, and by the way, one of the greatest drafts of all time when you go back and look at it, right? Von Miller, J.J. Watt, Julio Jones. I mean, I'm just like, Robert Quinn is that not going to make the Hall of Fame guy out of that draft, but it's just Richard Sherman, a zillion dudes in that draft up and down the line. The only guys that didn't work out, honestly, were quarterbacks not named Cam Newton when you look in the early portion of that draft. But I remember that draft came up and I was like, look, Patrick Peterson, AJ Green, my fault. It just hits me every now and then who these other dudes are that were in this draft. But I was just like, who is this guy that's so cold that you pass up on the chance at this? But what you got, where this dude right here, you go pass up on, we gonna figure out because he ain't running offense? Whatever. We go figure out one thing or another with this big old dude, and we go from there, right? And that, I feel like, was the gradual, like, take it down of like, okay, this is what we gonna do.
And it's not even just that he a big old dude who's also very fast. It's like, he's a football guy too. Like, he is like, fall in line. This is the right way to do things. As much as like people don't want to necessarily associate that with the type of like off-field persona that Cam had, or what you would assume for a big-time college athlete who had to leave a school because and you connect all that stuff, and then you might think that Cam ain't that dude. You hear Cam Newton talk about Jerry Richardson, you're like, oh no, Cam a football man from the South. He is completely fine with the structures that you create around football. He gonna be in there all night watching tape because he love it. And he gonna be in there working hard. He gonna put his body at risk. He gonna do all the things that you think about that's like the opposite of whatever stereotype you have of a high profile quarterback who got sent away from Florida.
Hey, look, that boy didn't have no facial hair. That should have told you a lot.
Yep.
and not in the bad way. Like, I ain't saying he was Uncle Tom. No. I'm just, not him, right? Like, I don't want the rest of y'all to get this twisted. You might be, right? But him, nah, that just showed that he was willing to fall in line with order, right? With societal convention.
Yep. Nah, my dad is in the military, or used to be, obviously, a while ago. And yeah, he got out the military, got us some facial hair. But we was in there, fall in line. We're going to shave this right up off. And Cam Newton was comfortable with that also.
Cam also existed in that space, because I've always said, and nobody really want to talk about this, the reason that Cam Newton is so controversial is the same reason Odell Beckham proved to be so controversial. It wasn't really about them. It was about the way, shall we say, certain people responded to him. Because there's ESPN did a 30 for 30 on the Auburn-Alabama rivalry. And one of the devices that they used was, it was a couple. It was a Alabama fan of a husband and an Auburn fan of a wife. And, that house divided type stuff with the bumper stickers and all that. But they showed something, and Cam came on screen, and that woman hopped up like this. And I looked at that look at her eyes, and I was like, oh, that's the problem.
It's not about it.
This ain't about football.
She ain't hopping like that for any other quarterback.
No.
That is true as hell about Cam Newton. And the man got a smile that's almost perfect. And I think that we've made a lot's been made of this because of his fight recently about how big and strong he is. Cam Newton is imposing. And whether you're attracted to men or not, you walk into a room where Cam Newton is,
there.
You gonna look, and then he happened to like have a perfect smile and be handsome too, and shoulders broad as three men.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you can get real intimidated real quick if you anybody else. You can hate on Cam immediately.
That's what I'm saying. Like it all hit me right there. But I saw the way that woman reacted. I was like, oh, that's what's going on here. Same with Odell Beckham. You know what they be looking like when they see that? No,
I think Cam might be a more difficult version for people to deal with because Odell got some new dude to him. Whereas the new dude version, you're like, all right, Cam is like the traditional, stereotypical, like masculine superhero. Like, I could imagine that there are like people who like, Odell, that ain't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, that Cam Newton, that is what, like, they broke the mold. Like, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to be like.
You're 100% correct, right? All of that is true. There's a delineation. But I still think that when them Giants fans is sitting on that couch complaining about Odell, like, just look at him. And she over there like, oh, yeah, I'm looking. I'm looking. Right, that's when these cats. That's when everything changed up. Like that's where the beef come out.
I don't know. I think you're probably right, but I guess this is. I feel like those guys convince themselves, even though it wouldn't be true because we know where he's from, but they could convince themselves like, oh nah, that Odell Beckham, nah, he ain't tough like me. He ain't like me. I know that is foolish and nonsense.
Oh, no, you're right about that. You're right. They definitely don't want to fight Cam. They don't have the subtle, as I've talked about many times before. I ain't met a sucker from New Orleans, not once, not yet. You don't even want it with Eli Manning. Trust me. Just leave these dudes alone. Harry Connick Jr. will stomp the taste out of your mouth. Leave these dudes from New Orleans alone.
If you hear somebody pronounce baby like that, then you need to be called. If they say Wazam, they say Wazam, then nothing, sir. I'm sorry.
Nah, man. You ain't making this far without you've been tested in one way or another. I'm gonna switch gears right fast. We get toward the end. I just happen to see this, and I imagine it'll be a big deal by the time this pod comes out. But Dwayne Wade got a podcast now. He did an episode with Chris Paul, and Chris Paul. I've been telling people about Daryl Morey, right? Like, Daryl Morey gets the people stuff wrong. So here's what we got from Chris Paul. I go over to the gym to work out, and Daryl called me. He said, I was just calling you to make sure you didn't want to go to OKC. I was like, no, I done moved 15 people to Houston. And he was like, okay, I was just making sure. He was like, I would never trade you to somewhere you didn't want to go because you chose to come to us from the Clippers. He said, I chose to go to Houston from LA. I'm at the house chilling. I was on the phone with Jada, that's his wife. And next thing you know, the alert said I was getting traded to OKC. And then my phone started ringing and it was Daryl calling. So I ain't know. Daryl was like, hey, man, it just moved so fast. I said, it's all good. I just want you to tell me one thing. You said you wouldn't go trade me, right? And he said, yeah, I said that, but I said that's all I needed to know.
My God, that's awful, man. Like, don't pretend. That's the thing. Don't pretend. If you go, I told you when I got traded, Mike Shanahan, well, first of all, there was rumors that I was going to get traded and that he would lie to my face. And then I eventually finally got traded, but he gave me two teams. He was like, all right, you can choose between these two teams. Like, I respected that. He ain't had to do that for lowly old me. But Chris Paul, damn, Daryl Morey get that people shit all wrong.
Dog. He said that's all I needed to know. Because it's not like anywhere. He traded him to Oklahoma City. And look, this is why Sam Presti be winning, because I'm sure Sam Presti played it straight once he got him. Like, look, we gonna do this for a year. I'm gonna get you where you need to go. I got plans. You got plans. We go ahead and we get that right. I'm surprised Daryl ain't have no sort of welcome to the NBA sort of moment, right? Like, I think I may have told you about this. This is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. Woman told me about this, that she knew this dude in the NFL, and this is when Broke, the 30 for 30 had come out.
Yeah.
And she was suggesting to him that he watch it, so he could learn some things. So she got him to watch it, and he watched it. And she said, did you watch it? He's like, yo, I'm really glad you told me about that. And she's like, okay, cool. So, what do you do? I got in the car. I went to my agent's office. I walked in there, I pulled out that Desert Eagle, and I told him that if he ever took my money, that this is what was going to happen to him. Now, I have to say, that's not the worst strategy I ever heard, because it would work on me.
What comes to mind is, all right, and I think athletes are very intelligent, and I would not suggest that they are incapable of figuring out their own finances. But when you get to a certain point really quickly and you're focused on sports, and I am a victim of this also, where I didn't completely understand what was going on. So at that moment, my man had two options. He was like, I can go teach myself accounting and go through all the books. That's one way I could go about this. Or you know what I do have? I got this blicky. I'm gonna go put this on his desk. I'm gonna put this tool on his desk, show him the hammer that I'm willing to work with, and say, look here, I don't know what none of this shit mean on this computer, but I know when I look at my account, if I lose a comma, or if there's not as many zeros in it, I'm coming to see you. I don't have nothing to live for no more. I guarantee you that man worked harder for that commission than he ever worked in his life.
He spoke that universal language, right? That's what he did. He spoke that, and that's all I'm saying for Daryl Morey. Like, look, man, you got these cats like Chris Paul who be in the union and out here selling things the right way. Somebody might show up. Hey, look, there's rules in place. There's institutions. There's mores. There's all this stuff such that should never be the thing, right? However, you're going to lie to the wrong one that one time, and they coming to see you.
Man, I bet you won't lie no more. Bet you be straight up with everybody from that point forward.
Yeah, you ain't going to send everybody to know Oklahoma City. Quite honestly, you was chancing the fates with Chris Paul.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like, Chris Paul has been known to go a little far. And, like, I guess he's 6 foot. The 6 foot NBA guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, he done did some things.
Them dudes on the Thunder was the only cast that was like, yo, I'm kind of looking forward to the bubble.
Man, run a tight ship.
That is Domonique Foxworth. Check him out on the Domonique Foxworth Show, available wherever you get your fine podcast. My man, I appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Voicemail line, folks, 323-596-7767. I was trying to think about where we should go for the voicemail line this week. I've been thinking, I've been trying to figure it out. And the answer is the time you saw somebody run up on the wrong dude, a la what happened with Cam Newton. 323-596-7767. Sean, you got prize picks for the people?
I sure do, Bo. We got Combine coming up, and in a very rare occasion, I'm going to take less across the board here, but Jaden Daniels, 4.52 40 time. JJ McCarthy, 4.63 40 time. Michael Penix Jr., 4.64. And Bo Nix, 4.74. I'm hoping everyone runs fast.
Sean, I was about to say, those aren't even really unders. Those are, you're just using a different scale. Well, you're so
I'm
optimistic.
still being optimistic, you know?
It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us here on The Right Time. We do this 3 times a week. Sean, you handling everything behind the scenes. Thank you, sir. Remember, follow The Right Time. Subscribe, like, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. You only give us 4 stars. I'm inclined to believe you are a hater. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of days. Take it easy.